Okay, YouTube, it is Drew Skylar 12 here. I decided to make a second video on my 13 and pregnant and where I am today because the first one, one of my friends told me that in the middle of the video, like halfway through, I covered the, microphone, and so it kind of went, like, really, like, what do you call it? It went really quiet. So I decided to do a second video. This one is probably going to be less like meaningful. Like the first one really meant a lot to me because it was the first time actually, going through my story with people that aren't really close to me. And so it really meant a lot, but I feel as if I should do a second one. My first one got, I think we're at like 176 or something views. No, I think it's 183. We're at a lot of views, and I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this so everyone will know my story and honestly really how hard it is. So I decided to do a second one to pretty much clarify everything, that I was saying. So first off, I want to start off with how me and my son's dad met. Jesse Shank, which is my son's dad, he moved here in September of 2010. And I had seen him skateboarding on the road one day, and it's actually funny because my grandma was like, "There you go, Tori, there's you a skater boy." And I was like, "Ew, no, he's ugly." Well, about a week later, I went out to the road, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Tori," and my friend was with me, and she's like, "And I'm Destiny," and I was like, who are you?" And he was like, "My name's Jesse," and I was like, blah, 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 how old are you? And he was only 11, and I think I was 12 at that time. Well, we started hanging out, and, after we started hanging out, I told him I liked him one night, and he was like, "I like you too," or he didn't tell me if he liked me too, and I asked him out, and he was like, "Well, I'll tell you tomorrow." So the next day we started hanging out, and he said yes. So we dated, and we were only together for about a month, couple weeks, and we broke up. Well, we hated each other for 6 months, and I actually almost fist fought him. I pushed him, and everyone, was like, "No, no, 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 no," and they pulled me off, and they pulled me away, and I had to go home. So that one didn't really work. Well, then we hated each other for 6 months. And those 6 months that we hated each other and didn't talk at all, and he spread rumors about me and everything, he got another girlfriend. I was really jealous because I still really liked him. At that time, I didn't know I had fallen in love. Well, in like February of 2011, I went out to the road, and he was skateboarding, and I was like, "Jesse, come here." So I asked him if we could be friends and nothing more than friends. Well, April 15th of 2011, my cousin took us to B-Dubs. I think it's worth that. Where they have the karaoke on Thursdays or whatever. I don't know, but she took us somewhere, and I asked him and his friend if he wanted to go, and I was like really begging them because I really wanted them to go. So he went, and I sat by him the whole time, and I told his friend that I liked him, and his friend was actually trying to get with me. And I told his friend that I actually liked him and stuff, and, excuse me. And, I told his friend that I liked him, that I liked Jesse, and he was like, "Oh, I understand." Well, on the way home, I texted him on my phone, like I used my phone and I wrote, I still like you and stuff like that. And he was like, why, I guess I kind of like you too. We'd continue talking, and April 15th of 2011, like I said, we ended up getting together. I'm not sure if that's the day that we went to B-Dubs, but that is the day we got together. In September of April 2011, I think I said 2013. In September of 2011, I lost my virginity. No, 2012. No, it was 2011, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, in September 2011, I lost my virginity. And I think it was actually, the exact date was, my bad.
Dropped it.
Yeah, I dropped it. I lost my virginity on September 29th of 2013.
You're making it extra long.
I know, I always do this.
You don't have to do all that.
Okay, blah, 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 blah. Jesse was there for me through a lot. Okay. I lost my virginity, and, December, I had missed a period, and it was really scaring me, so I missed my period in January, so I went to, my mom and her new friend that, at that time, I didn't know was her girlfriend, and, I, told them that I hadn't started my period and I had been having sex. Well, my mom's friend, now is her girlfriend, was like, well, she thought, all teenagers always say they're pregnant. They think they're pregnant. So she thought that's what I was doing. Well, she talked my mom into taking me to go get a pregnancy test. And she thought it was going to be, negative. But I came out of the bathroom and it was positive. I was crying before I'd even got done peeing on it. It was positive. And, I was crying, and it was really emotional for me because I didn't think I would have everything that my son, or my baby at that time, would need. I didn't think I could afford it all. I thought everything. Well, Jesse had told me that if it was negative, just to call him, and if it was positive, to come over. So I went over to his house, and I said, step outside. And he stepped outside, and I said, if you told me if it was positive, to come over. Well, he immediately started crying, and he sat down, and I sat on his lap, and as he was crying, I felt one of his tears go down my cheek. And, that made me kind of tear up a little bit because that was, I don't remember if I stopped crying or not, but that was a really emotional time for me. I asked him if I could come inside, and he said no, that he just wanted to be alone, and I said okay. Past that, a couple next days, we're sitting in my chair, sitting in my big lounge chair, and he was rubbing my belly and stuff. Well, we ended up, we went to Birthright, and we got papers stating that I was pregnant. My mom ended up making us tell his mom because he kept chickening out and wouldn't do it. And so we went over there, and his mom was like, no, this can't be true. I can't do this right now. I'm going through too much. And she started crying and shut the door. Well, later I got a message on Facebook stating that Jesse wasn't allowed around me. And I said that, and after his mom went inside, I said, you're not going to keep my baby from his father. Well, then I got his message from his brother and everything it just went really hectic after that. This summer, we didn't talk at all for 6 months. We had no communication, even if it was about the baby. Like, he lives right across the street, so, he could watch my belly grow. He was grounded for, 6 months. He was grounded. He didn't get ungrounded until, the beginning of July, and then got grounded again, and then wasn't ungrounded until, August. Well, we started, he was outside, and I used one of his friends. It's kind of bad, but I used one of his friends to get to him. And we were outside, and we kept hanging out for a few days, and I'd use my cousin's boyfriend. I'd be like, hey, Wyatt wants to skate with you. Let's walk down to Emily's house. And so he would, and we started talking and stuff. And one time, one of his friends was hanging out with us, and he's like, are you two together yet? And I was like, no. I didn't really know what to say. I just kind of looked at Jesse, but I was thinking no. Well, Jesse didn't really say anything. He was just like, no. Well, later that night, me and Jesse were talking, and I was like, why'd you say no like that? And he was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, well, I still love you. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to be with me? And he was like, or I was like, do you still love me? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, do you want to be with me? He was like, why wouldn't I? I was like, well, I don't know. I didn't know if you were allowed or not. And he was like, I don't know. Well, then we looked at each other, and we kissed. And I said, so what does that mean? Does that mean that we're together or not? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, so you want to keep it a secret? And he was like, yeah, for now. Well, we got back together August 13th of 2012, sealing that we were back together. And I had Drew September 4th, so Jesse was there for about the last 3 weeks of my pregnancy, and he would kiss my belly and rub my belly and stuff like that, and it was a really good experience. His mom wouldn't let him around me through my pregnancy. I don't know if I mentioned that. Did I mention that?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, I guess I did.
You guys had no communication. Oh, I keep stepping on something nasty.
Yeah. So, she's got a stool to take a picture.
I'm taking a picture.
So, yeah, that's my little story. Today, where I am today, I am almost 15. I'll be 15 July 15th. I'm going into my sophomore year. I'm still in high school. I currently do not have a job, but I do make money off of babysitting for my family members or doing stuff for my family members and stuff. I myself do not buy Drew's diapers and stuff, but my mom does, and I pretty much do work around the house to, kind of thank her for that. Drew is 9 months old. He's crawling now. Jesse is...
A douchebag.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. He's a dick. We don't get along. We can't even really talk about the baby without arguing. We broke up March 5th. We broke up March 5th of 2013. And so it's been a few months. It took me a while to get over him. I pretty much spent about 2 or 3 months trying to, you know, get over the fact that we had broken up because he was my first true love. I've moved on now. I'm not currently in a relationship. I do have, you know, some guys I like, and actually another guy. Yeah, and actually some guys that I've actually fallen in love with again. Or not again, but that I've fallen in love with too. And, so, I do plan on getting, after I turn 15, I am going to get a job, and I'm going to support my family, and, I'm not going to stay single forever, but I'm not going to bring a lot of men in and out of my son's life. So, that's my story on being 13 and pregnant and where I am today. This is my second take, and I'm sorry that the first one was so crappy. That's why I did this second one. It's much shorter. It's not as meaningful, but it's much shorter, much faster, and it gets to the point, really. So, I hope you enjoy my first one that's kind of crappy, and this one that should be good. And, yeah. So, subscribe and continue viewing my channels, and if there's any video ideas that anyone has on anything, then, yeah.
And shout out to Tim if you're watching this. Okay.
And shout out to Tim if you're watching this. So, thank you for watching my videos, and thanks, YouTube.